The evening I sealed the $12 million AI integration contract. The office was a ghost town, fluorescent lights buzzing like distant hornets. My desk lamp the only warm glow cutting through the dim. The dev team had bolted hours ago, off to some craft beer joint in the Mission District, toasting victories they barely touched. This wasn't their win. It was mine, forged in late-night code reviews, endless stakeholder calls, and a neural network I'd fine-tuned until it predicted market shifts like a psychic on steroids. We'd edged out Google Cloud and a flashy Boston startup, securing this exclusive for our Series C push. I sat there, contract PDF glowing on my screen, the digital signature fresh as wet paint, wondering if this time, finally, they'd acknowledge the architect without making me beg. Growth was everything now, valuations hinged on scalability. And I'd just delivered the blueprint, complete with dashboards and predictive analytics that could make or break our pitch. I renamed the file Final Integration Lock V7, emailed a copy to my personal drive. Old habit. I don't trust shared clouds or VPs who misspell algorithm in board emails and shut down. Glancing toward the CEO's corner office. Door ajar. Shadows playing on the glass. I spotted my printed proposal on his desk, marked up with highlighter streaks like battle plans. At least it was being read. I left without knowing that same document would soon be paraded before investors by someone who couldn't even debug a basic loop, and that my name would be scrubbed clean from the narrative I'd built. But that night felt like triumph. I'd crushed the KPIs, exceeded every projection, locked in the deal of the fiscal year. For once, I believed the equity vest and bonus, tied to those exact metrics, would land without a skirmish. Then came Marcus, the CEO's son, rolling in fresh from a Stanford dropout stint and a 6-month surf sabbatical in Bali. He showed up the next morning in ripped jeans and a vintage band tee, like he'd single-handedly reinvented disruptive innovation while catching waves. Interim VP of Strategy, the all-hands email announced, as if we'd all been waiting for this messiah. I'd been grinding here for 4 years, architecting our core tech from beta to beast. He'd been absent. Suddenly, he was my direct report chain, perched above me like a kid on a throne made of nepotism. The CEO, Elena, late 50s in her signature athleisure blazer, called a mandatory stand-up at 9 a.m. sharp. First since the remote work pivot when she'd quote Sheryl Sandberg over virtual lattes. The team crammed into the open plan space, half on Slack cams, bracing for the usual, we're killing it rah. Instead, we got a masterclass in family favoritism. Marcus sauntered in 10 minutes late, tousled hair, that entitled grin from growing up with a trust fund named after a Napa vineyard. Elena beamed like we should bow. He's here to infuse fresh energy into our next phase, she said, glossing over his resume that read like a gap-year blog. Marcus nodded, launched into buzz about holistic ecosystem pivots and quantum agility, dropping synergy like confetti without touching a single revenue stream. My chest tightened. By lunch, he'd reshuffled half the org chart, engineering lost pipeline oversight. Product got folded under a newbie named Kyle who'd once CC'd the wrong client on a pricing leak. Now I reported to Marcus, like handing a Ferrari to someone who'd only driven a simulator. I played it cool, sent him my Q3 summary, metrics smashed, churn below threshold, integration live, and scaling. All bonus triggers met, signed off months ago. Ironclad. He ignored it for a week. Then pinged back, circling back later. Re-evaling incentive structures. No sign-off. No context. Just that. I CC'd the CFO, crickets. Bumped into her by the kombucha tap. She averted her gaze. Mumbled about busy quarter. It hit me then. This wasn't rookie overreach. It was a calculated purge. Marcus started poaching my reports without a heads up. I'd refresh Jira and see tasks migrated to Kyle or finance drones who'd never touched ML models. My Series C folder access yanked. Glitch, he shrugged in a stand-up. Tech's finicky. Sure. Same glitch that wiped my byline from internal wikis and uploaded a revised growth sim with his timestamp. Formatting identical to mine, down to the hex codes on the charts. HR dropped the bomb casually. I swung by to chase my bonus docs. Assuming backlog. Sarah, our HR vet and rare voice of reason, whispered over her monitor. Heads up. Marcus is eyeing leadership refreshes. Off record. Then she busied herself with emails like nothing happened. That evening, I idled in my Prius for half an hour. AC blasting. Staring at the dashboard. Not rage. Not tears. Just a hollow watch as the empire I'd engineered got whitewashed. I could have stormed Elena's office. Demanded justice. But instead I archived everything. Bonus contract screenshots. Milestone proofs. Email threads. Local backups of the Sims. Poured a Cabernet. Scrutinized that revised file. He hadn't borrowed. He'd appropriated. Rewriting legacy as his innovation. The termination chat was slotted like a routine sync. 15 minutes. Her office. I walked in at 2:02 p.m., iced coffee in hand, half hoping it was about the API bottleneck I'd flagged. Marcus lounged by the window, arms crossed, smirking like a podcasto mid-hot take. No seat offer. Just oven, you're not aligning with our forward momentum. From the guy who'd called a sprint a vibe check last week. I steadied. You're letting me go. He grinned like benevolence. Think of it as a mutual evolution. Culture fit's key now. Culture fit, from someone who'd mocked a dev's accent in a retro. The bonus? We're redefining success metrics in this era. I pressed. We met them. Verbatim. He tilted. Fresh start for you. Apply that grit elsewhere. The CFO sat mute in the corner, fidgeting with a stylus. The same woman who'd high-fived my demo at the offsite. My mind raced through breach clauses, but I swallowed, signed the severance, accepted the swag, a company-branded hoodie. Gray. Small. Tags on. And a $25 Starbucks card with a sticky note for lattes or vibes in his sloppy scrawl. I stared like it'd bite. As I exited, I glimpsed it on his desk, under a trendy succulent, a binder labeled Investor Sim Revised. My layout, my curves, my optimizations I'd iterated for months. Now revised, scrubbed, rebranded as his genius. I strode past the bullpen, where Sarah from HR bit her lip, eyes apologetic. Into the lot, sun glaring like judgment. Tossed the hoodie onto the seat. It slumped like defeat. Equity vaporized. Years nullified for merch and a caffeine chit, with a whisper of better fit. But they overlooked the ties. That sim wasn't just numbers. It anchored alliances. And I was the keystone. The morning after the axe fell, I didn't rise with the sun. Stayed in bed, tangled in sheets from a life that felt borrowed. Scrolling the void where notifications used to flood. No pings from Elena demanding deck tweaks at dawn. No Marcus memes in the group chat. Just a sterile alert. Access revoked. They'd amputated my digital footprint models. Ripple. Forecasts erased like a bad commit. Not just severance, annihilation. I cracked open my offline vault, a habit from paranoid freelance days. Pulled the latest Series C term sheet draft, attached to an investor teaser pre-Marcus era. Skimmed. Then dove deep. Buried in the legalese. Page 11. Under contingencies. Funding disbursement contingent upon retention of key personnel, including Director of AI Integration, my full name. Se appendice. PG. 52. I leaned back, breath catching. It wasn't fluff, it was bedrock. They'd leveraged my track record in the pitch, my integrations as the unbreakable core. Pitched me as indispensable, then discarded without a footnote. This wasn't betrayal, it was amateur hour arrogance. Marcus, in his culture cleanse, hadn't scanned for load-bearing walls. No outburst, no frantic calls to attorneys. I duplicated the files, stashed hard copies in my safe with passports and deeds. Then accessed my shadow drive. Marcus never knew it existed, and loaded the original series C-Deck I'd architected 8 weeks prior. At 7:12 p.m., my phone lit. Lila, my ex-report, sharp-witted analyst with a knack for spotting outliers. Text, he's pitching your sim verbatim. Screenshot attached, my visuals, axes, palettes, watermark gone, but unmistakable as my DNA. I replied, archive all. No shares. No edits. She, on it. I lingered in the screen's pallor, fingers hovering. They'd hijacked my bonus, my legacy, my projections, repackaged as visionary leap. But they'd erected on a clause unread. No me. No capital. Not vengeance, structural fact. I craved precision. Not spectacle. Brewed chamomile. Cued a vinyl. Miles Davis's Quiet Storms. Drafted an email to Jordan Hale. Subject, Retention Clause FYI, Series C. Jordan and I crossed paths 5 years back on a diligence gig for a flailing fintech. No fanfare, but we'd traded favors since. Now at Redwood Peak Ventures. Co-lead on our round. No rant. No please. Attach my termination notice and the term sheet. One clause neon highlighted. Body. Presuming this remains enforceable. Departed last week. Interpret as needed. Sent. Unplugged. Tended my neglected succulents. Crashed. Jordan pinged next day. Ring in 10? We skipped pleasantries. You're really gone? Voice measured. Hoodied and carded, I quipped. He sighed. Christ. They buried the lead. I held silence. Your name's etched in the terms, ops linchpin. We insisted on it. No smoke. Just steel. They pivoted sans notice. Pause. You angling re-entry? No. Clarity. If they're hawking my blueprint, I can't fake my presence. He hummed. Ice cold play. Correction. Pitch tomorrow. Aware. Not attending? But you will. Linger on page 4. Grim chuckle. Copy. Click. No binds. No debts. Just truth's quiet relay. They craved narrative. Fine. But I authored the origin. You don't excise the creator. Then hawk the creation. Marcus entered the pitch like a TEDx headliner. Gelled hair. Tailored chinos. That predatory smile from boardrooms where pushback's taboo. Elena trailed in her power yoga ensemble, grinning like she'd birthed the future. The venue, sleek VC loft in Soma, minimalist oak, panoramic glass, vibes screaming discreet billions. Jordan sat poised, inscrutable, skimming printouts like casual reads. His partner, Nina, hawk-eyed in a sheath dress. Packet open. Mont Blanc ready. Marcus missed the chill, too busy aligning his notes like victory talismans. Shall we? He beamed. Screen flared. My slide one. Identical gradients. My pixel-perfect margins. He waxed on adaptive neural synergies like he'd coded them post-surf. Dove into the sim, grinning like term sheets were imminent. This trajectory, he tapped, re-engineered under my stewardship in Q3, syncing with our vibe-forward evolution. My metrics, sequences, untouched formulas, tab relabeled from Alex Core to Strat 3.0. Elena chimed. Witness generational velocity. From rigid tactics to fluid cultural thrust. Code. Fired the builder. Crown the heir, who once tanked a campus app. Nina nodded neutrally. Jordan stone-faced. Pitch flowed. Marcus deflected queries with faux modesty. Thrilled for Horizons, buzzword barrage fit for a keynote. No nod to the absent architect. My name? Phantom. Then Jordan eased. Pre-appendix? Exec stability for diligence. Elena. Locked in. Synergistic. Nina flipped. Updated caps. Recent shifts formalized. Marcus. Seamless. Integrated. Pristine. No flux. Jordan nodded. Deliberate. Current roster reflective? Affirmative. Smile too eager. He wrapped his pen. Tap. Tap. Solid. Air shifted subtly. Marcus oblivious. High on rhetoric. Elena sensed frost. Grin slipping. Room chilled. Nina noted margin. Marcus capped with future velocity. Vague as fog. Jordan eyed page 4. Underlined once in indigo. Jordan let the performance unwind. Slide by slide. Until Marcus exhausted his arsenal and oxygen. He snapped his MacBook shut with a flourish. Like he'd just aced a keynote. Reclining with crossed arms. Surveying like a conqueror post-battle. Nina offered tepid applause. Elena smiled like denial armor. Jordan cleared his throat, subtle reset. He hefted the diligence binder. Denser than Elena's vision boards. Leafing, 2. 6. 11. Exec grids. Comp schemas. Transitions. Hush. Marcus half-grinned. Awaiting adulation. Pause elongated. Jordan halted at 19. Stared. Pen emerged. Circled neat. Retention of my name as Director of AI Integration prerequisite for Series C tranche. Stark. Unyielding. Precedent condition. Underlined. Creased page. Slid across like verdict mail to Elena. She peered. Puzzled. Reread deliberate. Mouth parted. Sealed. Glance to Marcus. Rigid mid-exhale. Grin glitching. He chuckled forced. That provision's legacy. She's. Transitioned. Jordan arched brow. Aware. Nina braced. Elena paled. Marcus to the council at table's end. 60s suit. Rumpled tie. Council rasped whisper. Active clause. Tied to initials. Amendment stalled. We didn't. Stopped. Eyed Jordan. Marcus blinked rapid. We refresh the sim. Roadmap holds. Projections adapt. Adaptations don't nullify covenants. Nina flat. Especially capital gates. Jordan appended. Marcus timbre fractured. We deemed it non-material post-restructure. Deemed erroneous, Jordan stated. No yell. But impact seismic. Council rummaged satchel. Digits quivering. Assumed amendment would. Didn't. Jordan clipped. Unfiled. Unapproved. Undisclosed exit. That's obfuscation. Not evolution. Elena croaked. We overlooked. No. Jordan severed. You didn't. Stasis. Nina, pen note. Elena resembled a deflated balloon. Hands clasped subchin like supplication. To deity. Investors. Or oversight specter. Marcus recoiled. Posture steel. Lips compressed pallid. Sweat beaded his designer collar. Mentally recalibrating salvage? Futile. Jordan reclined measured. We invested in fortified structure. You excised the pillars sans consult. Now pitch a hollow frame as robust. Inertia. No stir, partners. Council. Elena slumped. Marcus' assurance evaporated like mist. You sensed his pivot calculus crumbling. No version salvaged his sheen. Jordan lingered seconds. Clinician pre-eulogy. Immobility. Marcus fixated void over Nina's shoulder. Mandible pulsing. Elena hollowed. Steepled digits prayer-like. Counseled off specs. Murmured resignation litany. Binder sprawled central. Circled claws incandescent under LEDs like seared indictment. Hallway. Admin tidied pastries. Ambient hum resumed. Normalcy facade. Shattered core. My former station lingered pristine, window adjacent. Third pod. Unreassigned. Placard intact. Chair bore the hoodie. Plastic swathed. Abandoned. Pocket concealed. Term sheet photocopy. Claws blazed. My moniker immutable. Pivotal. They'd unperson the pulse. Assuming echo sufficiency. Remnant. Void. Forsaken merch. Perpetual provision. Jordan rose unhurried. Cuffed sleeve. Button jacket. Locked Elena's gaze. Withdrawing. Blunt. Unvarnished. Severed aspirations. Constructs. Facades. Elena recoiled. Jordan. Pause. Regroup viable. Revisions feasible. Jordan unblinking. With whom? Quiet query. You voided your triggered keystone. Breached transparency. Forged sims on alien bedrock. Round terminated. Nina sealed binder. Wrapped once, adieu. Jordan pivoted doorward. Halted for coda. No drama. No ire, just inexorable verity. Commendable, to Elena. Toneless. You forfeited your enterprise. No linger for retort. Exited. Nina trailed. Latch snicked. Chamber breathless. Elena vacant. Marcus chairbound. Visage ashen. Palms slack. Counsel exhaled. Perhaps oath or surrender. None grazed binder. It mocked open. Claws radiant. Beyond. Reception prepped for next life's conveyor. But here. Stasis. A claw's echo. A hoodie's ghost. Jordan didn't escalate volume. Unnecessary. He sealed binder with precision finale. Palms table flat. Inclined toward Elena like elucidating flatline to the afflicted. Thus, calm as stasis. You ousted the linchpin we staked this tranche upon. Elena gaped. Managed rasp. Well, sidelong to Marcus. Craving bailout deck. Absent. I mean, Marcus initiated. Ironing shirt futile. Strategic realignment. Enterprise demanded operator attuned to emergent ethos. Forward gaze. Not rear view. Jordan incised. Direction? Edgeless. Resonant. You amputated your entity's vertebra. Marcus lips unsealed. Voiceless. Nina unearthed crisp leaf, prepped pre-pitch. Slid adjacent Jordan sans word. He elevated corner held. Rotated visible. Addendum 4B. Tapped apex provision. No disbursement sans prior consent for key ops removal. Counsel initialed. CO scribbled. 6-week vintage. Dropped. Landed decree. Elena's countenance evoked Wi-Fi epiphany cum revocation. Mandible tensed. Palms submerged. Mute. Marcus evolution dissolved swift. Models robust. Roadmap endures. Projections recalibrate. Recalibrations override not executory packs. Nina toneless. Particularly fund contingencies. Jordan supplemented. Marcus inflection splintered. We posited clause immaterial post-growth path refactor. Posited fallacious. Jordan affirmed. No bellow. Lacerated deeper than upheaval. Counsel briefcase dived. Phalanges tremulous. Impression amendment would. Didn't. Jordan truncated. Singular snap. Unsubmitted. Unendorsed. Exit concealed. Dissimulation. Not redirection. Elena articulated fragile. We presumed. No. Jordan bisected. You didn't. Atmosphere inert. Nina stylus snapped. Margin etched. Elena, juvenile in paternal wreckage realization, crashed into financier's estate barefoot. Marcus, retracted, rigid-shouldered, seam white lips. Assurance, cascaded couture, like chill perspiration. Salvage, computation, audible near. Absent. Jordan, reclined, deliberate. We wagered on resilient chassis. You extirpated sans query. Now vend sans skeleton pirouette. None vocalized. None shifted, partners inert. Council static. Elena deflated. Marcus poise vapor. His restructure rationale fractured. No iteration pristine. Jordan tarried beats. Like practitioner pre-shroud. None budged. Marcus transfixed ether supra-Nina's scapula. Musculature spasming. Elena cavernous. Interlocked digits Orizonesque. Counsel despectacled gradual. Soliloquized invocation or abdication. Binder unmolested. Splayed median. Provision luminescent overheads like cauterized edict. Corridor. Concierge cold investor victuals. Foyer melody recommenced. Commerce routine. Bar rupture. My erstwhile perch persisted immaculate, fenestral proximate. Tertiary cluster. Unallocated. Tag adherent. Seat harbored hoodie. Polymer veiled. Forsaken. In seam recess. Stipulation facsimile. Provision illuminated. My appellation unaltered. Cardinal. They'd efface the cadence. Presuming resonance adequacy. Residue. Hush. Derelict garb. Inexhaustible stipulation. In the wake. The office hummed on autopilot, keycard swiped. Monitors flickered. But the undercurrent was fracture. Elena didn't rally with a memo or morale boost. She vanished into her suite. Doors sealed like a bunker. Marcus paced his glass cube. Phone glued. Barking at shadows. Damage control in overdrive. But the bleed was arterial. Whispers rippled. The rounds DOA. Whispers of clawbacks. Bored murmurs of no confidence. My old team fractured. Lila jumped ship to a rival. Others polished LinkedIn like life rafts. The hoodie lingered on my chair. A mocking relic. Claw's copy curled in its fold like a hidden grenade. They hadn't noticed. Too busy scrambling. I didn't gloat from afar. Didn't scroll updates or leak to forums. Moved on freelance gigs. A boutique AI consult that valued blueprints over bloodlines. But the echo lingered. What price loyalty in a game rigged by lineage? Does correction equate justice? Or just cosmic rebalance? The claws endured. A quiet sentinel. Reminding that foundations crack when you bury the builder. And in silicon's gleam. Betrayal's shadows stretch long, leaving empires to ponder the cost of erasure.